find us on the web, www.kweli.tv. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at KWELI TV. The best way to really support us is to subscribe. We're $5.99 a month, $50 a year. We have over 350 titles. Once you subscribe on our website, you can go to our Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Chromecast, iOS, Google Play, Android app, and log in, and watch and binge on the culture, as we like to say. Please share Quality TV with your friends. I do want to say that, one of the things we hear from people is like, we're not there yet. They want to support us once we get big, or once we have, reruns of Martin or whatever on the platform. And I can respect that, but I do want to challenge people. Like when they first started streaming, they weren't streaming Glock. I didn't have it, but based on what people told me, because I was like a holdout person, but people were investing early into Netflix and hoping that would be this big thing, but now people expect smaller companies to be Netflix today. Like people expect us to have everything the way Netflix is, like expect us to be just like Netflix, and I'm not expecting people to come along for the ride with us all the way, but just give us a chance and know that we're growing, and as more people support, as more people subscribe, then we can do more. We can get more content. We can hire more people. We can make upgrades on the platform. We can get more apps. Once we have the revenue to do that, we don't have millions or billions of dollars like the other companies to just get all this content or get every single platform known to man. We don't have the resources. So that's the best way to subscribe and just share us and be with us for this journey. Ride the wave with us as we try to make this a really awesome company that could be as big as Netflix one day.
Awesome. Okay, and that's again the way to do it. And for $50 a year or $5.99 a month, that is insanely affordable. That's more affordable than any other platform I think out there right now. It's more affordable than Netflix, definitely. It's more affordable than Amazon and Hulu and all.
We get one of the things that because I like to see why people subscribe, so I get an email alert every time someone subscribes, and have the people say we're too expensive, or they say we don't have enough content. Or so these are the things I get from customers, and so and like I said, I've gotten emails from customers or someone like, I'll subscribe once when looks like your logo is made in Microsoft, like very cheap, like Word or something like that. Once you upgrade your marketing materials, I'll consider subscribing. Like those are messages that we get from our people sometimes. So yeah, even though it's that price, we still get some pushback. And so like I said earlier on, we won't be for everyone, but for those who believe in us and can see the long-term vision for what we're trying to do, I'm looking forward to, you subscribing and checking us out and giving us a chance.
And I just want to say that is insane that anybody, I'm shocked actually that anybody would say that price is too high or that they'll subscribe later. You can't for two things. One, you cannot compare someone's chapter 20 to your chapter 1. You're just starting out, you're growing your platform, you're doing your thing, and Netflix is years and has been in the game for years, and you're kind of just starting out. They can't expect you to be all this high quality and great. Again, like you said, you just started out with some small funding, and you grew from there, and you've grown it, and it looks like it's great content. Of course, it's only going to get better now that it's there, but for someone to say that, oh, I'll subscribe once your marketing is better, well, subscribe now, and then you'll get to see this thing grow too. That's like, again, saying that's just crazy that someone says that's not affordable, because they'll go to Starbucks and they'll pay $5, $7, $10 for a cup of coffee, and that's not helping really anyone in our community, but they won't support this.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. And what has kept me going the fact that I know the potential what we're building, and despite despite that, I'm still pushing forward. We get positive feedback too, but the negative feedback, it definitely stings a bit because I'm up most nights at 2 o'clock in the morning. Our staff is very basic, and if barely, and so if people really knew how much is being done with the very few resources that we have, people like will be shocked. And but I just believe in what we're doing, and I'm hoping that eventually there'll be this tide that will turn, that more people will see the value of what we're building and want to support. So I appreciate that.
Yes, and I just want to tell you to stay encouraged and keep at it because I see again I have a degree in digital media production and I have these big ideas because again on one day I want to own my own production company and studios. So having again if I have a partnership or some type of professional relationship with you, that would be great. It's like, okay, now I have a way to distribute my content right here. And I don't know why black people don't think of that. We are talking about, well, we need to do our own. Well, this is us doing our own. And anyway, I guess, but someone else got to pay the way. So please stay encouraged and stay motivated to do that. Keep doing what you're doing. We support you. One of my listeners actually just messaged me and said that they've subscribed for 1 year. So you already have immediate.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You already again have some immediate new subscribers. I'm sure as we share this, we're sharing it on our social media right now. We're gonna share it some more. We're gonna try to get the word out as best as we can, and I'm sure we can have some type of effect. Just to date though, from where you first started, and when did you start again?
So I've been working on the ideal since 2015. We launched out of beta 2 years ago. So
So
for 4 years. I've had the ideal since 2012. It's funny, when I started, I had the initial ideal a long time ago. I was a finalist for this competition, and there were 10 of us who were finalists. Only five people got the money. It was $50,000. I was one of the people who did not. And because I was a finalist, I could ask the judges why I didn't get the money. And it's funny, kind of now looking back on it, they were all like, "We're not sure about the future of streaming," which is insane, right? Because these were like legacy organizations that were trying to invest in companies that were led by women or people of color. And people are like, what? But you think about 2012, it was literally just Netflix and Hulu. Like HBO was, no one else was streaming literally at that time. And but I saw it, but I just didn't have the resources to do it at the time. And so life is all about timing. And I feel like now, as more people are, understand that this is the way that the world is moving, that we're going to eventually see more traction in streaming. And there are lots of other companies that are starting, like Disney and Warner and HBO Max and everyone else and their grandmas get into the game. But at the end of the day, even BET, but they're not black owned, So, that's what makes us different, unique, and I think in a pretty good position.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and that is what makes you stand out from the rest because BET, as much as people and they have their own award shows, and I'm sure they have streaming content right now. I personally, I can't even watch BET, and haven't watched it except for far in there. I haven't watched it in years actually because just knowing it's saying Black Entertainment Television, but this is not a black-owned company and it's not giving back to the black community. So I don't. But your platform, Quality TV, you're absolutely doing that. And again, we just look forward to seeing you grow. And again, I'll help where I can and see if my listeners see where my listeners will subscribe and whatnot. Do you have a commercial, actually, because we do have a platform, so do you have a commercial ready for TV and ready for radio?
Yeah, we do. It's a 1 minute, a 15-second clip and a 1 minute clip. Yeah, but we did last year.
Well, please send that over to us so we can, again, share it. We have, so we can share it, and we'll share that. Oh, and we'll be sharing that on, again, our social medias. We'll share it with the TV and radio station and whatnot. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm outside of Washington, D.C.
All the way from Washington, she's Miss Deshuna Spencer, again, the founder and CEO of Quelly TV, is joining us. here in studio, and we just want to thank you, and we appreciate you. And we're not rushing you off by any means. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, or anything else you'd like to tell our audience?
No, I just, thank you for taking time to, reach out to me and wanting to interview me. So I do all interviews, and so I appreciate the opportunity to talk with your audience.
Well, thank you, and we thank you. And last questions. Where are you? Well, can you tell us who you are and where you're from?
Where I'm from? So I'm originally from the U.S. still, from Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I'm from. People think I'm from like somewhere Africa or the Caribbean. Like, no, I'm from Memphis. And born and raised, I went to Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. I studied communications and journalism, and I thought I'd be a journalist. And now I'm really doing this. But that's just a little bit about me and my background.
Nice, nice. And again, you studied in journalism, and then you went and got your own streaming platform. So anybody saying, "Oh, there's no way I can start my own company and start this with the training I have, with the schooling education I have," well, again, Miss Spencer, Miss Deshuna Spencer did it, and again, she was trained in journalism, and she went into something. I mean, it takes definitely some journalism. I'm sure to do what you're doing. But she went in another direction with it, and is gonna make it big and be successful. So for anyone out there who wants to start their own business but think, well, I don't have the proper training, there's books, there's resources, there are people you can talk to if you just look it up. Again, I was been scouring the internet, and I found you on Instagram of all places, and I was like, okay, this is really dope, and this is gonna be big, and this is great, and this is refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times people think, "Oh, I don't have the experience, I can't do it." I think I definitely would. I knew I didn't have the experience to start Quilly TV, but I also think that to be entrepreneur, you have to be a little bit wacko. I know it sounds crazy to say that. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the exact quote that Steve Jobs says, but he mentioned like entrepreneurs are a little bit kind of not wired right because you're hitting your head against a brick wall all the time. You're getting little sleep. You're making very little money. It can be very lonely, but you have this big ideal, and so I always tell people like if you have this big ideal, like you kind of have to go for it and pursue it and see what comes of it. It's never going to be exactly how you envision it. You're going to have these ups and downs. I remember listening to this video years ago. It was like, gosh, maybe like 7 years ago. Tyler Perry, he posted on, I think, YouTube or something back in the day about how he did his first play. And, despite what people think about his plays, right? I do respect him for his tenacity and his willingness not to give up and what he's doing now. But he said from like 90, he like from 91, he did like this one play and his money he got back from, like you get your money back when, well, in the US, you get your money back from your taxes. And he used that money to rent out a theater in Atlanta. And he invited hundreds of people, only 30 people showed up. And so he tried to get in 92. 30 people showed up. He did in 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. From 91 to 97, he did the same play, only 30 people showed up. Now, any logical person, probably after the second year, would be like, okay, no one's coming to this. This means this isn't going to work. That means no one really cares what I'm doing, likes what I'm doing, right? The rational person would stop. Maybe year three, they would stop. But 91 to 97, he did it again in 98, right? And then there were 40 people there, and one person was like this investor who did produce like plays like across the country, wanted to, send his play across the country, right? And that's kind of how he got started to, where he is today. Now he has the studio in Atlanta. And so a lot of my friends don't watch Tyler Perry movies and that type of thing. They may not be their type of genre, but they do respect that, he did the hard work and he's giving back. And so I always tell people, like, even I have to remind myself that a lot, like no matter what, like you kind of have to keep going because any rational person would have given up in by 94, right? But he did it 7 years with no traction, just family and close friends coming, empty theater, still performing, trying to make something because he believed in himself. And so if you believe in